Welcome students, myself Ashwani Sharma. I welcome you all in this video lecture. So students, in this video lecture we will start to discuss second life process, that is respiration. Student, let's start. What is respiration? To know the answer for this question, first of all we have to recall digestion. So what is digestion? Digestion is a process of conversion of large complex food into small and simple and absorbable form. So once food is converted into smaller absorbable form, it undergo absorption and reached inside the body cells. So inside the body cells, students, still this food has to further broken down into another form so that we can get energy from this food. And the process which is responsible, students, to convert that simple digested food further into so that we can get energy, that is respiration. So let's see the definition for respiration. What is respiration? It is a process, catabolic process. So what is catabolic process, student? In which some substance is broken down to form some new substances. So it is a catabolic process of oxidation of food to release energy for various metabolic activities. So first it is a catabolic process and it involves oxidation. Oxidation means the simple digested food is mixed with oxygen to broken down so that it can release energy. So respiration is a catabolic process of oxidation of food to release energy for various metabolic activities. So we can write, students, a general equation that what is going in respiration, that when food is combined with oxygen, it results in formation of carbon dioxide plus water plus large amount of energy. So this is a general equation for respiration. In further topic we will discuss a proper chemical equation for respiration also. Next, student, what is the respiratory substrate? Respiratory substrate is a substance which undergo respiration to release the energy. So what is written here? The organic substance which undergo respiration to release energy. And the most common respiratory substrate, student, that is glucose. Glucose is the most common respiratory substrate. Students, for a layman person, what is respiration basically? For a layman person, respiration is just breathing. But student, my question is there, that is respiration is only breathing? So the answer is no. Respiration is not simply breathing. Yes, we can say that respiration, that breathing is one of the step of respiration, but it is not totally respiration. So what is breathing? Breathing we can consider one of the step. And what happens in breathing? In breathing there is inhale of oxygen and exhale of carbon dioxide. So once, student, this oxygen reach inside the body cells, then the respiratory substrate, it combines with respiratory substrate, and then ultimately it results in, once that carbon oxygen combined with food, then ultimately that food is broken down to release what? That is energy. So we can split, student, respiration into two processes, into two steps. What are that two steps? Let's write. The two steps are, number one, breathing, that is inhale and exhale of carbon dioxide, and second is, that is cellular respiration. What is breathing? In which oxygen is inhaled and carbon dioxide is exhaled. But in case of cellular respiration, the food will combine with oxygen to form carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. So from this discussion, it becomes clear that respiration is not simply breathing, but it is a combination of breathing plus cellular respiration. Cellular respiration means when the food is broken down with the help of oxygen inside the cells. That is cellular respiration. Students, we have to discuss cellular respiration in detail now. So, what I want to say that cellular respiration can be further divided into two types. And what is the criteria for classification of cellular respiration? That is availability of oxygen. If cellular respiration occur in the presence of oxygen, then it is called aerobic respiration. And if it occurs in the absence of oxygen, then it is called anaerobic respiration. So respiration can be divided into two types on the basis of whether food is broken down in the presence of oxygen or food is broken down in the absence of oxygen. Now first of all, we will make difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Then we will proceed further in our this topic. Students, now let's talk about difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So what is first point? It occurs in the presence of oxygen and it occurs in the absence of oxygen. So very much clear, simple point. Second, complete process of respiration occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria. So it is very important to note down that process occurs in cytoplasm and mitochondria of the cell. Whereas here the process occurs only in cytoplasm. So this is a very, very important point. Third, student, complete oxidation of food takes place. That food is oxidized completely. But here incomplete or partial oxidation of food occurs. Next, student, end products are carbon dioxide and water in case of aerobic respiration. Whereas here the end products are ethanol and carbon dioxide or lactic acid. And lastly, student, here large amount of energy is formed. We know that how we can measure energy in terms of ATP. So here 38 ATP are formed. Here just 2 ATP are produced. So this is a difference among aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Students, now let's talk about a very, very important topic of respiration, that is three pathway breakdown of glucose. So what is it basically? Let's understand. Student, first of all, let's take an example. For example, it is a cell. And inside the cell, suppose it's a nucleus. And here we will make one cell organelle of the cell, that is mitochondria. In ninth class, you have studied mitochondria. So mitochondria is double membranous cell organelle. So this is mitochondria. Is mitochondria. This is nucleus, and this whole structure, this whole content is called cytoplasm. So I have already discussed that the most important respiratory substrate is glucose. So when glucose reached inside the cell, that is the formula for glucose is C6H12O6. Then what will happen? It is in the cytoplasm now. First of all, this glucose in the cytoplasm will break into two molecules of pyruvic acid. How many molecules? Two molecules. And this process is called glycolysis. I am writing here in glycolysis so that you can see it easily. What happens when glucose reached into the cells? Then it is further broken down into two molecules of pyruvic acid in the cytoplasm, and this process is called glycolysis. So how you can define glycolysis? The process of breakdown of one molecule of glucose into two molecules of pyruvic acid. So where it occurs? It occurs in cytoplasm. Now student, glycolysis process is common for both, whether it is aerobic respiration or anaerobic respiration. So differentiation of aerobic and anaerobic respiration starts after formation of pyruvic acid. So up to here, have you understood now that glucose is broken down into pyruvic acid and this process is called glycolysis. Now student, this pyruvic acid, if it enters into the, suppose glucose is broken down into pyruvic acid, I am writing here Pa, and if this pyruvic acid now enter into the mitochondria, then it is aerobic respiration. If it has got the root of mitochondria, then it is aerobic respiration. And if it is further broken down in the cytoplasm itself, then it is anaerobic respiration. And this happens in our muscle cells as well as in yeast. We have a large complex body. Our energy demand is fulfilled with the help of aerobic respiration. But sometimes when we do vigorous activity, then there is loss of oxygen, there is a consumption of oxygen. So due to that lack of sufficient amount of oxygen, our glucose is broken down in the absence of oxygen. That happens in muscle cells, not in normal conditions when we are doing a vigorous activity for a long time. Then sometimes in our muscle cells, due to the lack of oxygen, that pyruvic acid is broken down further anaerobic. So let's discuss further that pyruvic acid, if get mitochondria, then it is aerobic respiration, and end products are carbon dioxide plus water plus 38 ATP. And when we are doing a vigorous activity and there is a lack of oxygen in muscle cell, then what happens? Pyruvic acid will not go into mitochondria, it will break in cytoplasm itself to form lactic acid and two molecules of ATP. And similarly, in case of yeast also, in yeast, in the cytoplasm itself, pyruvic acid will further broken down into ethanol and carbon dioxide plus two molecules of ATP. So in aerobic respiration, whether it occurs in muscle cells or in yeast, it takes place in cytoplasm and same amount of energy is produced, that is just 2 ATP molecules. The only difference is of end product. In case of muscle cell, it is lactic acid. In case of yeast, it is ethanol and carbon dioxide. So this is a three pathway breakdown of glucose, where glucose first of all is cytoplasm broken down into pyruvic acid, that is called glycolysis, and then further if it enter into mitochondria, it is aerobic respiration, and then products are carbon dioxide plus water plus 38 ATP. And if it doesn't enter in mitochondria, it remains in cytoplasm and occurs in muscle cell, then it is anaerobic respiration. The end product is lactic acid plus 2 ATP. And in case of yeast, it is ethanol plus carbon dioxide plus 2 ATP. This is all about student for the today's topic. So now let us summarize the topic, what we have discussed today. First of all, we have discussed about definition of respiration, that respiration is a catabolic process in which energy is produced by to perform various metabolic activities. Second, we have discussed about type of respiration. There are two types. One is aerobic respiration and other is anaerobic respiration. Third, we have discussed about difference between aerobic and anaerobic respiration. And lastly, we have discussed about a very important topic, that is three pathway breakdown of glucose, in which we have seen that aerobically carbon dioxide and water and 38 ATP are produced, and anaerobically in muscle cells lactic acid is produced plus along with 2 ATP, and in case of yeast ethanol and carbon dioxide and 2 ATP are produced. So student, with this our today video lecture is over. In our next video lecture we will discuss some more aspects of respiration. Till then, take care. Thanks.